Yeah. Yeah. So welcome everyone. This is Josh from KeepItTechie. Glad to see you guys back in the building. I wanted to do something a little bit different today by bringing on Professor Black Ops again. Shout out to him. He's doing great things on his channel. But I wanted to bring him on again so we can kind of talk about a particular topic. And you guys know that I use Linux. I've been using Linux for a long time. And one of the reasons I use Linux is because of the privacy aspect. And it's best to bring on somebody that actually works in that field. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't do cybersecurity, but Professor Black Ops is in that field, and he's actually doing great things in that field. And I thought it'd be great to bring him on so we can collab and you guys can learn about some of the privacy issues that are going on in today's climate. But welcome, Professor Black Ops. Good to see you. Thanks for being here, man. How you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me. I'm enjoying the part two.
Oh yeah,
Anytime you need me, just summon me, and I'll definitely be in your channel, man. I thank you for your support, and I definitely want to help the community. So anytime you need me, man, just reach out. I'll be here for you, man.
for sure, man. I definitely appreciate that. Now, first thing I want to do is allow you to introduce yourself for the people that may not know who you are.
Oh, no problem. My AKA is once again Professor Black Ops. I've been in IT for 30 years. I've been in cybersecurity for probably 15. And through 3 runs of cybersecurity, I focus on is general news, what I call protection of systems, STIG, NSA, NIST checks, and the other thing about to talk about is society. And part of society is privacy. How do we handle privacy? How do we deal with privacy, and what are we giving up when we join these apps with our privacy? So that's a shorty. And also, I'm an adjunct professor. I usually teach at night for dinner money, so I've been doing that for almost a decade too. So I'm actually am a professor. I usually teach introduction to computer security, with lets you sit for your Security Plus exam, and I usually teach advanced forensics. So when you get hacked, you can kind of track who stole your money or your files. It's probably in Russia. It's probably in Russia. So
Exactly.
so that's just a high level. So a little bit about me.
Okay, and if you can quickly, I guess, kind of go over how can people actually get into that field if they were trying to, um, get into cybersecurity as well as working with STIGs and all that government contracting. Because I didn't want to make it a long interview. I just kind of wanted just
Oh yeah.
some more, in case somebody that's
Oh
new to it, trying to get some information. Go ahead.
oh. That's a debate. I guess it ain't even a debate anymore. You talked about it. Tech G talked about it. Alpha
Mm,
talked about it. Kev Tech. You can get a degree, which is what I did. I went to school. I got a bachelor's in computer science in 1990. That's how old I am. I got an MBA in 95. But I think most people are going the certification routes.
mm,
Because one thing that came out in an interview with you and somebody else is a lot of people leaving college with $90,000 in debt, right? So
yeah.
you got to kind of balance it. And what are you getting for your 90,000? So a lot of people are checking. I'm calling it the non-traditional, right? Is get your certifications. Everybody's talking about it. Your channel helps people. I think you think about doing a course, Kev Tech, Alpha Cyber. Everybody's out there talking about certifications. So everybody usually starts out with the big three, right? A plus, Network Plus, and Security Plus, right? It's a short. So you can focus on that. You can get an industry. I think Kev Tech help desk. A lot of people start on a help desk. That's usually the traditional way, because then people can show you how they run the business. And a lot of times before they move you into a higher position, they want to make sure you showing up on time, you communicating well, you dressing well. Not that you have to be suited up like a high value man, but your dress code is in point with how they want you to dress, right?
Mm,
So those are kind of some of the basic things. If you want me to elaborate more, I could, but I think those are the basic steps
yeah.
for you to get it. Like I was a programmer for 15 years and I was system admin. I've been a DBA. I liked your other video. I think you named out the 5 top things, and I did all those in my lifetime. So I kind of worked my way up the traditional ladder. Once again, I was a programmer, system admin. Then I was a DBA. Then I was a manager of a app server, web server team. Then once I hit all those aspects of technology, then I became into cybersecurity because cybersecurity touches everything in IT, programming, admin, SQL Server, DBA. All those things have a security component in there. So since I had my wealth of experience, I got picked to do cybersecurity. I think hashtag they call it purple team. I do a lot of application security too.
All right, cool, cool, cool. So, one thing, one of the well, you know, based on what you're talking about, you know what I'm saying. You guys need to go check out his channel, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to his channel. I put the link in the chat. So you guys check it out. He has an excellent channel, and his video is basically what inspired this live stream. He did a video a while back, and this was talking about um the FBI. I think just bullying their way into some systems to to update them or patch them, which is cool. I understand you're trying to
No, that's
prevent.
not cool. We
Well,
gonna talk about that. Is not cool. But go
okay.
ahead.
Well, I think it's well. I understand the national
I
security
do.
aspect of it. You know what I'm
You
saying?
do.
It's because of you're trying to prevent other countries from getting into vulnerable systems here in the U.S. So I
You
understand that part of
100%
it.
correct. Yeah, you're
But
100% correct on that, man.
yeah, the it brings up privacy issues, and so that's
Bingo.
yeah, and that's what I wanted you to kind of elaborate on, if you can, or speak to it.
Oh yeah. You want me to speak to that in general? Or speak to the. Let's start off with the FBI. Let's just attack that. You're
Okay.
100% correct. And I actually talked to somebody that used to work for the NSA. I actually called him up. I worked at DoD for 11 years, so I reached out to somebody, and we cool. So I just started off. The FBI is overreaching.
Yeah.
You violating my civil rights. Stay off my server. Just
Mhm.
contact me on email. But he said what you said, basically. He said it's a national security issue, man. It was 500 or 700 servers that were already opened up in the back end. So do you want to let us other people go behind them and steal information? Do you want to let other people go behind them and attack them? I said, well, if you reach out to them and they don't respond, Patrick, why are you jumping on my system? Because to be honest, the NSA got hacked and their red team tools got hacked.
Yeah.
So are y'all leaving breadcrumbs behind so y'all can get in there? And I called them, don't answer that question. I really don't want to know the answer. Right. So now you're telling me I gotta trust the government, but that's some issue we always trust the government. But I could have had something going on where you close it. What if they break something?
Yeah.
You giving them the benefit of the doubt. What if they break your system, man?
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
Then who's responsible? So that was my thing. So I thought it was a bit of an overreach. I do understand both sides, and I do understand why they do it. Like you said, I am kind of a little excited because I think the United States is getting serious about cybersecurity. So that lets you know that they were doing that. But the weird thing is they went to the Department of Justice and they got a search warrant to do that ASAP. Because the first thing I was like, where's the warrant? And I looked, I was like, oh, hell, they got a warrant. They went to the Department of Justice and got the warrant, right? So, and that's what it is. And that's what I tell my class is you have to vote on how far do you want the government to reach, right? I tell young people that's the decision you have to vote for.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I tell people when I brought this up is, do you want the government searching your emails? Most young people say no. Then I go, when they don't catch the next terrorist before they hit us, do not complain. Because you just magically don't find terrorists in the tree. You do that by searching people's emails, following up, scanning Facebook, scanning Instagram, checking stuff, right? That's the government doing that. It's not magic.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what's the line you drawing at? Where's your line personally in that discussion?
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons I talk about Linux all the time, because I don't know, it's the whole privacy, um I guess, culture behind it as well. So but I also try to push, people not putting too much of their information out online. Because just like the government was able to get into some exchange servers and do their thing, and
Mm-hmm.
they can get into your computer the same way. Is that true?
True. I mean, you can say it now, man. Like you said, you just don't magically catch terrorists, man. You got to be
Mm-hmm.
scanning, check the back door. But the cool thing, not the cool thing though, if you Google Facebook and warrants, if you Google LinkedIn and warrants, when you post something, the FBI read it. If they want the rest of it, they just take a search warrant
Mm-hmm.
to the social media company. They're gonna give up your information.
Oh yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize that. But two is, I mean, you're young, but you ain't super young. Anybody on 25 putting everything on the internet. They argue with their brother and sister on the internet.
Yeah.
Their favorite drink, they putting their favorite side chick on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, for them, like you said, where's the line?
Yeah. And the crazy part about it, they start tracking a lot of these companies. They start tracking you at a very young age. Like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, like my son has a Google. Both my sons have to have a Google account for
Yeah.
school. You know what I'm saying? So they getting all this information from when you start off as a preteen, on up until you become an adult and tracking all this information and I don't know, and eventually can use that for whatever purpose.
Eventually, they already using it because if you go on Facebook, go out to Google and type something. As soon as you get back into Facebook, they showing you ads for what you type. If you put Las Vegas, you go look at your Facebook ads. They
Mm-hmm.
talking about what you typed in, and a lot of people, and I don't know this was true. If you talk about something
Yeah.
and go back look at Facebook, you like, now did I type that in? Or are they listening to what I
Yeah.
said? Right? I know you've seen that in the ads, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
One of
so
my
true, man. Like
yeah.
I tell this story all the time when I talk about privacy. Me and my wife is she has a disease that it's just personal thing or whatever. But we were talking one night about something dealing with something she wanted to buy or something she needed, I think to help with her legs or something, or her knee. And soon as I went over to my computer and we were talking about this, I think it was like 20, 30 minutes ago. I walked back over to my computer and I started seeing ads for specifically what we were talking about. It's
Facts.
crazy. It's
No, it's
crazy.
not crazy, man. A student man brought this up. He goes, what's the product Facebook sells? And I go, and he goes, if you don't know what the product is, you are the product.
Yep.
I had to think about that. And Facebook is $1 billion company, man.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tell my students, when you buy $1 million commercial for a Super Bowl, you don't even know if they're looking at the Super Bowl, man.
Yeah.
Facebook knows when you're on, what you're looking at. They really, if you Google Facebook and moods, they were doing a study to figure out what you type that they could figure out if you were happy or sad to figure out what to show you.
Yeah.
So Facebook is about that life of making money, and they're good at it, man. All those social media companies, you don't make $1 billion company. But my thing is, I've never clicked on a Facebook ad and bought anything. So,
Mm-hmm. Me
so
neither.
I'm like, oh, so it must be working though, because they do it. So that's it. You are the product for
Yeah.
Facebook.
I intentionally go out my way. If I see an ad for something, I intentionally go out my way to not click that ad. And if I really want it, then, or if it's something that I actually want or need, then I'll intentionally go around that ad to find the product I want, so they don't get credit.
Why you
I
trying to
know it's
shut?
kind of
Don't hate
bad.
on, don't hate on Facebook. But that's it though. But the crazy thing though is we willingly give up our privacy to
Yeah.
Facebook. Especially young kids, man, they put everything on there. They put your whole family tree. They put what you like. They click, which I'm bad about. I go to high-end restaurants to eat because I'm chunky, so I get coupons for every high-end restaurant within a 10-mile radius of my house. Oh, I see you like this type of food. You want to come here, sir? Here's a free coupon. We give you 10% off. Come, because that's the marketing. But that's what you give up for free,
Hmm.
right? That's what free costs you, your privacy.
Yeah. Now let me switch gears a little bit, and I want you to hit on the encryption port that you brought up earlier.
Yeah.
Um, um, now, what's the importance of encryption, and why do you think it's under attack?
Oh, it's been under attack for a decade. And I can elaborate on that. Encryption is when you send data across the internet or you save it to a file, it's TLS, AES, 256. But long story short, it's a mathematical way to encrypt data so other people can't read it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's usually a private key. But if you Google that, law enforcement are like, that's how we catch people.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can't encrypt it, if we can't de-encrypt it, like we talked about, we can't catch the terrorists, we can't catch the mob, we can't catch domestic terrorists. So they're going dark.
Mm-hmm.
If you look back the last 5 years, is the FBI always argue with the iPhone and Apple because Apple's got top-notch security, and they're like,
Yeah,
we
I remember
can't get
that.
into the phone, and Apple's like, we ain't got the keys, man. We can't help you.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Apple. So the government's like, hey, you got to help us. Apple goes, nope. So what they do is there's a couple of Israel companies that always kind of finds a way.
Yeah.
Shout out to the STIGS, but the STIGS kind of every time they put STIGS put in it. Once, long story short, when you were saving your data up to the cloud, they
Mm-hmm.
weren't encrypted in the cloud, so the company could get the backup and read it. Now, one of the NIST, now one of the this STIG check is encrypt your data in the cloud. There's a button because a lot of people weren't doing that by default.
Okay.
So right, so those checks are coming up. So now it's harder and harder for companies to try to figure out because every time they break them, Apple's got that patch and that fix in there. So they call it going dark. So the government, like we said, is we trying to catch terrorists and you're not helping us. So we need a back door into your system. My thing is, ain't that what your warrant is for, sir? You getting warrants, you know. But I think Apple's they don't care. They're like, we don't even have the keys. The keys on the phone. We can't decrypt them if you ask them. So the government's like, nah, that's not gonna work for us, player. You're gonna have to put a back door in or something,
Yeah.
or we're gonna personally sue you. So that's the fight, like we talked about. Is it your privacy and freedom or us catching terrorists? So the FBI and the NSA was like, hey, you got to get on those companies because encryption is getting so good because every attack we get a little better and better. So, like you said, and you remember those, they always argue with Apple with iPhone.
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
know if the terrorists love Apple, but I was like, just something. We need the keys. Apple like, we ain't got them.
Yeah, I remember they I think someone had passed and it was a whole
Yeah,
uproar about them trying to get into the actual phone to find out who actually I think somebody might have I can't remember the whole story, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
know they were trying to get into it and it was a big fight in court about it. So
Still is because Apple's like I said,
yeah,
Apple's
they're
putting
not
the
backing
keys on the
down.
phone. Apple's
Yeah.
like, we're not get where Facebook, they turn on your data kind of easy. They fight a little bit, but they just turn you over.
So do you
Facebook don't
agree with
care.
encryption?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's my and shout out to Person Center Cyber. They calling it zero knowledge and the zero trust. I hate that term. So
Yeah.
zero knowledge means I can encrypt it and you can't see it, right? Or
Mhm.
I encrypt it and I know the hash, so I know what the number is in there, right? So there's like 3 or 4 forms of encryption out there that you can use. So no, encryption is the truth. And I do a lot of government compliance, and everything they talk about is encryption in transit, encryption at rest, and encryption in use. So those are the 3 things when I check a system. If it doesn't have 2 of those, I won't pass your system. So encryption is number 1 on my list, especially encryption and transit straight TLS. A lot of times SSH, you're on a Unix when you SSH in a box so you can work on it, right? You want to
Mhm.
make sure nobody's snooping it or stealing that information.
Yeah.
Public and private keys, that's basic number 1 when you're dealing in Linux. So
Mhm.
now I'm 100% about encryption. So the question is, do I do I open up a backdoor so you can break my encryption or look at my encryption? My answer is no, because when you do that, you weaken your system and the posture in your system. So you're
Mhm.
actually create a vulnerability. So if I know that backdoor is out there, I'm gonna try to find it.
Yeah.
Right? If the
Exactly.
government said it's out there, I'm gonna try to get it to. And our government, we have been failing, aka solar winds. So I don't think we need to be putting any more vulnerabilities in systems. Shout
I
out
know,
to
right?
Russia.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
right? Now, what do you think is behind all these hacks that are happening? Because I noticed on your channel as well, you've been talking about a lot of different hacks, like
Yeah.
bookings.com. I
Mhm.
know it's a couple that
Oh
have
yeah.
Clubhouse, data leak.
Oh,
What are your
my
thoughts
highest
on it?
one is OnlyFans. Shout out to OnlyFans.
Ah,
Check your pics. Stay out there.
I know, right?
No, it's just an easy way too, is because I think we're lazy with computers. And you always show on your channel, which you do a great job of. It's easy to spin up a web server. It
Yeah.
might not be secure, but you can spin one up with a click.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I think a lot of people are doing that and they're not thinking deeply enough. So if you're a script kiddie, I can go out and get a Kali Linux. Man, I got 1,000 ways by just hitting a button to attack you.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't even have to attack you. You hit the malware and then encrypt your all your disk drives. Then you gotta pay me to get the key to decrypt your disk, because people don't do backups right anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. So that's easy money. You know, I was joking in my class. I was like, we should be $100 million ransomware group, top ProfessorBlackOps team, right? Because somebody click that button, start deleting disks. I 30,000, you can get that key back.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad thing is, a lot of hospitals get killed with ransomware because their security teams are weak at hospitals, so they've been getting tore up. So it's just easy. Too. It's just so easy to do it, man. Especially if you in shout out to Kenny Conjo. You in a third world country, man. He's showing sex trafficking in third world countries. You go out there and do ransomware, you make $30,000. That's probably 10 years salary, man. If you in Vietnam, Africa, some of those third world countries, man, you get a couple ransomware, and if you get a hospital, they got $30,000 in their back pocket, man. You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, so it just makes it so easy, man. So if you got a PhD in a third world country, that's the easy way to make money, man. And you know, we the evil empire, man. They don't care. We got it. They think we got it, man. Everybody over here securing the bag, high value, man. So we got $30,000 in our socks. So we got it.
Yeah, definitely.
Just too easy. So like I said, I think we need to. And I think we're trying to get serious at cybersecurity. The problem is the shortage. So if you're an entry level or you just starting out, like we talked about, you worry about features and making money, not about security, right? So once again, that just makes it easier to attack it and make money. $30,000 in a third world country is a crazy amount of money, man.
Yeah. Now let me ask you this though. As far as your online footprint, should people start minimizing their online footprint in any way? Because like I guess that's why I brought up all these sites getting hacked, because your information is getting put out there. You know what I'm saying?
It's already out there.
Well, yeah.
I'm with you though. I hear you. I struggle with that because if you're a small company, you got 5 dudes and you're trying to spin up. If you get on Amazon or Azure, they got 1,000 people in cybersecurity, man. I reach out to those guys once a week, man. They get back with me with great answers. They got the top-notch security components, right? AWS is shared responsibility, so you have to configure them correctly, but they have them, right? So I always say you need to get into a big boy cloud and just kind of. They got good templates out there. I don't think we're following the templates. So so that's why I say, because I mean, so what are you gonna do? Put more stuff on a zip drive or USB drive? So that's why I struggle with it. So if you try to do any kind of business, are you gonna spin them up in your on-prem or are you gonna spin them up in the cloud? I think the cloud is much more secure than just, you know, because you get AWS, you get your VPC, you get your security groups. They got encryption at rest. They got government level encryption being verified. I think we just got to work on how to configure, right? Because like that one lady, she opened up the database to the internet. I'm like, come on, you got to lock that down, right?
Yeah.
So that's something basic. So I think we're not doing the basics. So now I think you should stay in the cloud, to be honest.
Yeah. Now, yeah, and that brought up something else. I'm in a Reddit or a subreddit called Open Directories. That's the name of the subreddit. And the subreddit, they people post open web servers that are out there on the web with tons of data that people are not securing. So and they don't even know that it's on these sites.
Oh, I know. That's the sad point. But I think we in the site should do better and at least reach out to the company and be like, hey, you might want to check this out, right? Yeah. Hey. But if you look at most of those are basic settings we're not checking. So that's why I always say, let was cyber center person said, let's make STIG sexy because those are the checks that are in the STIG that help you do that.
Exactly.
Right. So I'm doing one for Windows Server 2019. That was 315 checks. Right. So if you do the majority of those checks, you're going to be much further along in security. You understand security. But once again, people are learning. People are just spinning up things and they're trying to learn on the fly. And they're just easy to take advantage of. Because if you look at the text from the solar wind, if you actually look at their red team, so 3 of those checks were 2 years old. They weren't patching their Active Directory, and there was some other VPN they wasn't patching. So we're not doing the basic patching to make sure we're at the right level for the security, for security. So those are just basic things. So I think those are the basic things we need to work on.
Now, let me ask you this. So with all these hacks you be putting out there, what I see on your channel, when I see this, is money. I see, I see opportunity and money. And the reason I say that because cybersecurity positions are going to become more and more needed in the future because of all these types of hacks. And I don't know if you agree with this, but I think it's going to open up a lot more jobs, a lot more, because laws are going to start coming out that's going to force these companies to follow these STIG checks and all that. So I see the opportunity for people that are just getting into IT to hop into this area. And can you speak to that as well?
Oh, without a doubt. Oh yeah, most definitely. I see you're right. I see money on both sides. I see money as the criminals. And like you said, if you go to Indeed, I don't even know if Monster exists anymore, dice.com, you put in cybersecurity, there's a million openings, right? But the sad part about it is most of the stuff I put on as hacks, I don't even think most of those are actually cybersecurity hacks. If you're not up to the correct version on Windows 10, if you're not updating your Tomcat or your IIS, that's really not a security. That's basic hygiene for a company, right? So I don't even put that at the level really of cybersecurity. For me, that's the sad part. But I've been in this business so long, right? As a SQL Server person or Oracle person or a Linux person, and you're in charge of that, you need to keep that patched up. Be that patch Tuesday or Oracle Quarterly or whatever. You need to be. Most of those sites let you sign up, and when there's a patch, they send you an email and they say these are the things we fixing in this version. To me, that's not even at a security team level. When I check my guys and they're not on the right patch, I'm asking their boss, why are we paying you, man? That's your job to keep on the patch level, right? That's basic hygiene. You patching to make sure we're at the right. That to me, that's not even at the cybersecurity level. And I tell people, I'm gonna recommend you get fired, man, because that's an easy hole. My boss used to say, if we can't do the easy stuff, we ain't gonna never get the hard stuff done, man. Right. That's the easy stuff. So I see them, and then I think we can't do like I said, we can't do the easy stuff. So where are the essays? Where are the DBAs? Where are the managers? Those come out, especially Microsoft. Those come out Tuesday. We know when Patch Tuesday is. That's not a hard thing to figure out, right? So why are we not doing it? So, but yeah, the industry. The only thing I worry about, because I work with federal guys and they're all old and they're elitists, man. They want at least you to have 5 or 6 years in the industry before you get into security. So that's kind of the tug of war I'm having with those guys, because in the old days you couldn't be a DBA unless you was a programmer. Right, because your requirements come from a programmer, so you want to be a programmer so you know what those requirements are.
Exactly.
So if you haven't done those various jobs, how do you know what the security requirements is, right?
Exactly.
Right. So but I'm telling those guys, I think certs are good. Let's think a little differently. Let's move a little differently. At least let's get those guys into a entry level position in cybersecurity. So, but yeah, that's my take on. Like I said, I'm kind of elitist. I don't even think most of those aren't cybersecurity problems. We're just not patching, and that's one of the first levels up cybersecurity to make those patches. So when you do those vulnerability scans, they just tell you, there are 3 versions behind, and it tells you this is the way to hack it. If you go look
Yeah.
at those CVEs, right? The CVE said, oh, for this patch, this is how you break it. But if you put this new patch on it to fix the hole, but if you
Mm-hmm.
ain't fixed the hole, the CVE tells you how to break in the system,
Yeah.
right? So if you look on my thing, I did one on Panera Bread, and I just walked through. I did a quality scan. I looked at the ciphers. It showed what their web server was. I put that web server version, and it showed me 8 ways how to break in that server.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not even a red team guy. Shout out to Alpha Cybersecurity. That's him, Kenny Conjo. I'm not a pen test guy. I'm not a red team guy, but I do compliance. So I do basic stuff to check where I'm at when I apply the STIG. So, but once again, I don't think those are security issues. Those are basic patching things that should be in any company at a low level to get that stuff done and those holes fixed.
Okay. Okay. Now, let me give a couple shout outs right fast. What's up, Dart Low? IQ, thanks for being here. He basically says, what VPN or cybersecurity system do you recommend for personal finance use?
Ooh, I have to think about that. I'm usually because I'm in there. I usually use Cisco, but that's a little pricey.
Yeah.
So I need to think about that on personal use. I'm usually in the government lane, so they have big pockets because those are your tax dollars. So
Hmm.
I'm usually Cisco in that area.
And if any of you guys have any questions for prof- I'm about to mess up my words for Professor Black Ops. Man, I can't speak right now, man.
You good? You good?
Shoot them up in the comments box, and I'll definitely ask them, man. And shout out to you, Mace. Taggart, I definitely appreciate you being here. He says appreciate both of you brothers. Salute to you, man. And Complex Design, what's up, man? How you doing? Good to see you in the building. Person Center Cyber, good to see you. Definitely good to see you. See Over, Zachary, who else? And Gordon Maxwell. I don't know if you in here today, but I know I had to push this stream back because I had some issues come up yesterday, and I know you commented that yesterday. But if you in the chat, man, shout out to you for definitely being here, man. Salute. Now, I'm trying to think. It was something else I had written down. Let me see. Let me see.
You want me freestyle while you look that
Yeah,
up?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. I had a couple things after the off of that FBI. If you look out to Google, Google has this thing called geofencing. So if there's a crime, they get your phone, anybody's phone that was within a mile radius of that phone. You don't have to be talking that phone, just a mile radius. The government and the FBI has your phone, and they're putting a warrant out for your records. That's kind of a big area, but so once again, your privacy is being stepped on because you were in the vicinity of a crime. Not that you committed a crime, not that you even were in the picture of the video cam of the crime, but you were in a mile, so your phone number's coming up. So they're going to dig into your records and kind of figure out if you were communicating, if you had something to do with it, or were you with the criminal. So once again, is that an overreach of your privacy? I think so. I'm 4 blocks away just because my number comes up. I wasn't with the guys. You didn't see me on no video cam, but all of a sudden you bringing up my records to Verizon and you asking for my text messages. You reaching out to like we just talked Facebook and you getting my text records and you looking at my streams to see if I'm showing money or something on it, right? So the question is that overreach? I believe it's overreach. Once again, I tell the young people you got to vote on that in the governance and tell the government what you will settle for and what you will not. So those are some of the other things that people don't realize. Google's giving up your information. Facebook's giving up your information. Amazon's giving up your information, right? So all these companies are stepping on your privacy. So how are you going to vote for that and how are you going to push back for that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I definitely agree. Now, I heard you say, well, hold on. Let me get to Pearson right fast. She posted something in the comments.
mhm.
I read that patches are not done because it requires downtime, and downtime equals loss of money. What are your thoughts on that?
That's true and false, but keep it tech. You can chime in on that. That's why we make DBAs work at night and on the
Yeah.
weekends. So for my company is every Sunday or anybody, most people have a Sunday. Once a month we pick out and you get a 6-hour window to patch when you need to. And I'm gonna let you, is that true or false?
Nah,
We don't care about
that's
DBA
true.
sleep.
That's true.
We don't care. That's why I stopped being a DBA. I'm too old and I need to sleep a lot.
Yeah.
So company needs to put up at least one Sunday or whatever day you pick. So I work for companies that are usually 24/7, but we'll pick a 4-hour window and you got to get it in. And two is, and KeepItTechie can chime in. Every holiday we trying to do the most because we try to get caught up on our patches. Do we care about Techie's holiday? Nope. We need him to come in ASAP.
I'm screwed.
Right. And we don't care.
Yeah.
But people know that. But that's why we pay them what we pay them. Shout out Security Bag. So no, but I don't think that's an excuse. Most large companies. And two is with software as a code and infrastructure as a code, we're getting a lot better with patching. And I think big companies know that because I used to do Oracle. So what they do is it's an A and B. So if A is active, I can patch the B side. Then when I need to cross over, I just change the pointer. Instead of pointing from A, I put it over to B. So my downtime is like 15 minutes because I did all my patching that week, right? Because the B is not being used, but I got a copy. So I patched the B. Then when I go, I just switch the pointer to B, right? So a lot of companies are thinking in ways to make that zero downtime, make it easier, take less stress off, and keep it techy. So there's different ways because companies are different. So I don't think that's an excuse. Yeah. Like I said, go ahead, jump in.
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, that's like how I do cluster or how we do clustering at work with the failovers, you know, and all that. I was just gonna add to what you were saying, you know what I'm saying? But someone else did ask about PFSense. Have you ever used PFSense? Do you know about PFSense?
I know what PFSense. I looked at it actually from a smaller client. It seemed pretty good. I guess from my perspective, most people are going to the cloud, so they don't worry about it. So when I go up to the cloud, Amazon's gonna patch all their networking for me. If I'm using software as a service, they're gonna patch the database, they're gonna patch all the application and web service for me. So that's why a lot of people go to the cloud because they don't have to worry about that. Amazon's gonna do that for you.
Yep. Exactly.
So that's one reason I don't know if that's a valid excuse anymore. And any small company, you need to be getting to the cloud ASAP. It's gonna be easier for you.
Yeah.
So definitely. I think so. So I think that patching, it's not a good excuse. You just need to get your infrastructure together. How you're gonna run it and get your team together. Like you said, you got clustering. Oracle does the home A and B. So a lot of companies, have that patching in their minds to make it a lot quicker, so you can get those windows done and get them shorter too.
Yep, exactly. And shout out Pearson for the question, as well as Crime Stoppers. Definitely appreciate that question, man. And shout out for the Florida lease. So you from New Orleans, man. Appreciate it. So that was pretty much all the questions I had for you. But if there's anything else you want to put out there, promote your channel, whatever. And I already put it on there. So anybody that watches the stream afterwards, please subscribe to Professor Black Ops. He puts out a lot of great information, man. I definitely support this guy, and I'm gonna keep pushing his videos and his channel because of what he's doing. But go ahead, Professor Black Ops.
You got a couple minutes. I want to hit 2 other quick topics.
Oh, go ahead.
You could. We talked a little bit about this. Everybody in Ring Doorbell, people don't know, and I talked about this a couple times. Ring Doorbell has a partnership with the police. The police will pay half your bill for Ring, but what they do is any streams that come off your Ring Doorbell goes to your local police department. So if you're walking in front of your neighbors, your face is going to show up in the police scan.
Wow.
Right. So once again, is that an overreach of your privacy?
Right.
So. I think so. But my neighbors give me a shout out if they're going to send me to a police scan. But my neighbors, they're a little older. Oh, you didn't do anything. You should be okay. No, I just don't want to be in the police station. Man.
Yeah.
Right. So people don't realize Amazon is called Recognition, and it's a facial recognition, and they're selling to police. So they're linking that together. They want to sell that software and sell a Ring Doorbell, so they give people a discount like you do when you order Amazon products.
Yeah.
Right. The crazy thing is a lot of Amazon employees actually was boycotting it because they're worrying about their privacy.
Mm-hmm.
So is that an overreach, right? So you walking past your neighbors, and a lot of communities are standardizing on Ring because they want all. If anything happens to their community, they want it all to show up at the police department,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's a coordinated effort for them to do that. But is that stepping on my privacy? I didn't sign off for you to send my pictures to my local police, right?
Yeah.
All the people were like, well, you didn't do nothing. No, I just don't want my picture down.
Uh-huh.
And the reason is I'm going to step on, if you Google this, and somebody else just talked about it. I think it was Professor T.S. Johnson. It's actually a year older. This black guy was falsely picked out by facial recognition.
Oh, yeah.
So when the police actually looked at it, they arrested this guy. He was in jail for 30 hours. Then when they actually looked at the picture looked nothing like him because facial recognition was done by people at Stanford, Harvard, and MIT. There are no black people or people of color on there. So they didn't even test it on people of color.
Mm-hmm.
They just tested it on white people.
Yeah.
Right? So you got me in the doorbell ring showing up, but now your facial recognition is 30% wrong.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting hauled off there. I could get fired too if I can't make it to work, depending on what job you got. That could destroy your life, man.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy how we feeding all this information into this facial recognition software. That's what a lot of these big tech companies are doing. They're taking all your little Instagram showing off pictures and loading them into a database and using that to teach the photo recognition software. So,
but the good crazy thing is Facebook can have facial recognition for 10 years because when you put the box around your face and you type your name, it pulls up every other picture with your face on it.
Yep, exactly.
So people don't realize that's facial recognition.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So you got doorbell, once again, picking up your picture, and facial recognition software is 30% wrong with black people. So now you in there locked up trying to get bail money, trying to figure out why you got arrested, right? So then they looking at you like, oh, it was an honest mistake. No, man, you just cost me my job.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that once again is that an overreach? Is that an overstep of privacy by a company and your government? Right? Because your government needs to be regulating that stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So and they're not. So once again, that's the overreach. And two, we talked about this again, 23andMe, and all those background hereditary companies.
Yeah.
If your DNA's in there and the police scans that DNA, if it's close to another DNA from a robbery, that's your cousin. They're gonna bring you in to testify to figure out where your relatives live, right? Because if the DNA is close, that means they're related to you.
Yeah.
I didn't let 23andMe keep my DNA to share with the sheriff or the FBI because they're just pulling out warrants and just using that as their database now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Once again, is that an overreach of your privacy or not? I think it is, but I'm old and grumpy. Everything's overreach. Everything's overreach. Right. Shout out to Gabe in the box.
Yeah, let me shout him out. Thanks, Gabe Bay. He says, great conversation, brothers. And shout out Kenny Conjo. What's up, man? Salute, bro. KeepItTechie and ProfessorBlackOps. I'm here listening while shopping, man. Shout out to you, bro. Appreciate you coming by. And I see Young Grizzly in the building as well as Maddox12. Good to see you guys. Young Grizzly says, yep, all those or are you human checks for websites are there to teach the computers. Yep, exactly, bro. I definitely agree with that. It's teaching.
Facts.
Well,
Facts. So the last one I don't think people realize is those health things you wear on your wrist.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So a lot of times is people don't realize, number one, is tracking you. The funny thing is there was a secret base in Serbia. The Navy SEALs were running around the base. They had a challenge to special forces across the United States. So it showed the light around the base because they ran around the outside. So that uncovered the secret base on the internet.
Wow.
So right. So people weren't thinking. A lot of times when you do this thing, it's honest. They're like, okay, we're keeping it in shape. We're gonna do a challenge to all the special forces, but they showed the light around the base. So it's like, there's the super secret base.
Yeah.
Right? So those are stuff when you do cybersecurity checks on them things you're not important. They are important. Even anytime you wear anything or thing is posted to the internet, you need to do a review of it. Then the other part of that too is it's checking your blood pressure, it's checking your vitals. It really knows if you're in shape or not.
Yep.
Right? It knows it does your cholesterol after sweat, right? But since it doesn't get payments for the government, it doesn't have any HIPAA requirements.
Oh yeah.
Right.
That's
I
right.
think it should have HIPAA requirements because you got my health data up in Amazon. Well, Amazon has with Fitbit that they bought. So that stuff is up in there, right? So if that gets out, would my insurance be higher? Can my employer not hire me because I'm in bad shape? I got high cholesterol. You know, I'm old and chunky, man. I got a few issues. Nothing crazy, though. Got a little high blood pressure, a little cholesterol. I'm trying to eat Cheerios. But could that stuff affect me from getting hired? Right? So that's what we got to think of, once again, as privacy. Right? So what should we do with that data? Should that be HIPAA data now just because they're not getting government payments? So what should we do with that as a society, right? Or do we care?
Yeah, that. I definitely agree with you because, and I've talked about this before. I think Fitbit was acquired by Google. So that's going to
Yep.
tie into your Google information at some point as well.
And
And
you
they
know Google
already
know who you
have,
are.
yeah, they
Yeah.
already have a lot of stuff on
And
you.
Amazon got a Fitbit they bought too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So they got all the information. So
They
but people
gonna
don't
know you
realize
sick. They gonna know you sick before you know.
they gonna know quietly.
Yeah.
But the people don't realize though is that's what those companies share with other big data companies, and they get a digital dossier of you.
Mm-hmm.
People don't realize. So that's what people pay for. When you look at Equifax, they did it more for numbers, but now they're starting to put health with you, who you deal with, what friends you hang around,
Yeah.
right? Because most people say you like your top 5 friends. So if top 5 friends of yours are a little iffy, people might not hire you. So they're doing a digital dossier because, but once again, we give them the information freely, right?
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram, all of them. You know, I'm trying to get my Snapchat chat game up. I'm old, man. But you know, but all that's creating that digital dossier about you that I don't think people realize that people are doing that, right? Mm-hmm. And like we just talked about the geofencing, if you got your location on, even without your location, Google know where you at almost to the millimeter, man. Like I was driving there, like, oh, did you go to this restaurant? How was that gas station? You know, I work in a building with 12 floors. They knew what floor I was on.
Wow.
They say, oh, you work at this department. Can you help somebody with a question? I go, how you know I'm on the 3rd floor, man? Wow. Right? So, I mean, that's the stuff we're giving over from a privacy standpoint. Mm-hmm. You know, I call it digital redlining. You know, I try to make it big. So, you know, that's going back 60 years. You know, they kept us in the neighborhood, made it more expensive. So is this the new, I'm calling it the new digital redlining. Wow. Right. So what are we signing up for?
Yeah.
Right. Right. Because, you know, they know where you live. They know the prices of it. Like you said, if you're in bad shape, all of a sudden your insurance could start going up. You're trying to figure out why, because your high blood pressure up, because you don't put it in Fitbit.
Yep.
Right? Or you hanging out in the wrong area of the city a lot. Oh, he in red line district. He a little iffy. We're gonna have to bump insurance up. Mm-hmm. Right? So that's gonna be the digital redlining.
Yeah. I definitely agree. Let me give a couple shout outs though. Mitchell Valentino, thanks for being here with the super chat. Two of the best in the business. Great conversation. Thanks, man. John Guillory, salute to you, man. Thanks. Great info, brothers. And then Brown Beetle says, guys, do you think DuckDuckGo is actually more private than Google? And also messengers like Telegram and Signal? And they say, what are your thoughts? And I'll answer that. I'll let Professor BlackOps go first if you want to, but I did do, let me say this right fast though. I did do a couple videos. I did a video on DuckDuckGo as well as Signal. Both of those applications, based on the documentation that I read and reviewed, they are more private than Google. They don't track any information. It's especially DuckDuckGo. Based on what I've seen. As long as you're not logged into your Google account in Chrome, then you should be fine. It should be more private. But if you got any, did you did you got
Oh,
anything to say to that?
yeah, I agree with you. The only problem is you're 100%. But I think when DuckDuckGo try to go public and get some of that public money, your stuff
Hmm.
ain't gonna be private anymore. But I agree with you. As of now, I think both of those are good. The problem is nobody's on them, so everybody wants to go where everybody's at. So
Hmm.
But no, I agree. So with that,
Okay, okay, cool, cool. And then Gabe says, open source intelligence is open to anyone on the internet. I would recommend everyone to search the internet for their own personal information. And that's true. Most people's information is out there. All you got to do is, if you know somebody's real name, you can find a lot about a person just by searching their name on the internet, especially nowadays, because it's all being tracked and tied together. It's a relational database. One point of reference, and get you a whole bunch of information. So, uh, thanks for that information, Gabe. Appreciate it.
facts.
Yeah, and let me look through the comments a little more. Let's see. Maddie says Google Health is coming back. Yep. They purchased the Fitbit, so that's one of the things they bringing into it. And shout out to Sir Abadiah. What's up, man? Peace to you. Good to see you, bro. Um, Let me see if anybody else got any other comments or questions. And then, do you have anything else you want to throw out there? Or
No, I think that was it. I think that was the last few things. Oh, I put up one more thing is, and I think it's real interesting. Facebook is getting tired of getting beat up by the Congress,
yeah.
so Facebook actually created a board. And I thought the board was going to be weak. I thought the board was going to be people they picked. If you Google Facebook board, they got scholars around the planet trying to figure out if they should give you your account back, right? Because they
Hmm.
actually kicked off Donald Trump, which was a little interesting. You could kick the president of the United States off your platform. I was a
Hmm.
little surprised. So they actually created a board of scholars. You can go out there and Google it. It's pretty impressive. So from a privacy standpoint, I think people were complaining because they think they were getting judged wrong by Facebook and they thought they were getting picked on. So if you're at a certain level, they're not going to do everything. But if you're at a certain level, aka the president of the United States, you can actually go in front of a board. And I think Mark Zuckerberg, Congress, been eating him up over the last 5 years. So they actually created a board of people to make that decision. And the
Hmm.
crazy thing is, their last 3 or 4 decisions went against Facebook and what they think to do. So everybody they reviewed, they actually put them back on Facebook. So I thought
Okay.
that was interesting. So
Yeah. Yeah, that is. But let me see. I think I'm gonna wrap it up though. Cause I didn't want to stay on too long, but I definitely appreciate you coming through and talking about this topic. It's a topic that really needs to be brought to the forefront, as far as privacy. And if you guys are trying to get into cybersecurity, you got a lot of people in the chat that work in these fields. I've met a lot of people on the internet, man, in the last year or so that are in these fields and doing great things in these fields and don't mind helping you guys. So anybody that's watching a replay, whatever, you're trying to get into cybersecurity, these guys are, on top of it and putting out some great information to help you get into these fields. But like Kenny Conjo, Pearson Cyber Center Cyber. She puts out great information. Gabe Bay, and of course my guest Professor Black Ops. He puts out a lot of great information, and I appreciate you coming on to do this talk. And I wish I had a little bit more time so we can go a little longer. Um,
uh, just do a
but
part 3, line it up. Hey, we can
yeah,
talk about anything, man.
okay,
Privacy, STIGs,
okay,
databases, DBAs, whatever you want to do, man. I'm here for you.
okay, cool, cool. Yeah, so
Anytime, man.
yeah, so you guys go check out his channel. I think I put the link in the chat again, and it's definitely in the description of the video. Go on and check out Professor Black Ops. I really like what he's doing, like I said earlier, and I really I like to promote people that are doing great things in my opinion, and putting information out there to help people. So shout out to everybody that showed up in the chat. Shout out to all the guys that donate. I definitely appreciate you guys donating to the channel. We need to support each other, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, I don't know everything, you know what I'm saying, and that's why I bring in a lot of people that are experts in their area of whatever field they're doing in IT. So I definitely appreciate you guys again. Professor Black Ops, you got any last words?
Tell Gabe to stop hating on the sticks. No, thanks for having me, man. I actually followed you first in the Manosphere and the tech guys, and you helped me meet all these guys, man, like Gabe Egg, Kenny Conjo, Cyber Center Person, man. I followed your lead, so I definitely appreciate you for having me on. Anytime you need me to come on and chop up a topic, man, just name the day. I'm here, man.
Okay, got you, got you. I definitely appreciate you guys coming again. Salute. Y'all have a good night. And stay on right fast.
I will. I will.